Have you ever been poisoned, attacked with a nail gun, roped into an incestuous love affair, and accused of murdering your ex-wife with a Ferris wheel during a Christmas heatwave? Well, then this is the movie for you. We watched D.O.A. in this special episode spotlighting the career of Meg Ryan, today on Nothing Movies.
However you wish to self-identify, to Nothing Movies, where we ask the question, who murdered me? It's the podcast where we go through an actor's filmography and choose the most anonymous and culturally untalked about movies that they've made and decide whether or not they've got a certain something, or if they're just a whole lot of nothing. And it's also the podcast that inexplicably takes month-long hiatuses in the middle of a trilogy for no particular fault of our own, because this is an independent podcast that we produce and edit on ourselves, and sometimes it just happens.
Sorry, I went on a fucking vacation.
No, a lot happened. A lot happened since we recorded last. You went on vacation. I got sick.
Yeah.
I dropped my laptop on the ground.
Yeah.
Paul Sorvino died. It's been a busy month. It's been a lot has happened.
I mean, Paul Sorvino was the glue holding this whole thing together.
Yeah, and then it all fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Kaz Leskar.
And I'm Jameson Rafter, as always.
As always. He's still Jameson Rafter. Nothing's different this time. And today we're breaking down the Nothing Movies of America's sweetheart Meg Ryan with 1988's D.O.A. And to help talk about D.O.A., we've got a PGP, a pretty great person. One of our that was off the top of the dome. I was sweating. I was as those letters were coming out of my mouth. I was sweating buckets. One of our favorite guests.
You're usually pretty good at forethought and writing shit out. And
it's all lies.
Okay,
it's all lies and smoke and mirrors.
I appreciate you winging it this go around.
Thank you so much. This go around. All other times.
I would have just said a DOA yourself. A doll on arrival.
Oh
boy.
Okay.
All right. We got
It's Hannah Snider. Hannah Snider is
one of our favorite people's
One of our favorite guests. Hello, Hannah, and I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Also, by the way, if a month is a long time to have a hiatus from the podcast, then lock me up and throw away the fucking key.
No.
In fact, just execute me publicly.
You're running the gamut on the world's longest hiatus.
I know, but in my defense, my computer literally blew up in front of the IT guy's face at the hackery. So I am sorry, my laptop is destroyed, and maybe all of our episodes are gone. We don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Was there a comical puff of cartoon smoke that came out?
Yeah.
Did it have a little skull face?
No, he was on the phone with Adam, and he was like, then at one point, the laptop just blew up in my face.
That's not a thing you want the IT guy to say to you.
And then Adam's like, oh my god, are you okay? And he was like, I inhaled some chemicals. And I was like, what the fuck?
That was unrelated to the laptop, though. I was just, Thursday night and all that.
And then a week later, he became a Spider-Man villain.
So my laptop was basically dead on arrival.
Hey, tying it back.
Hey.
That's why you're one of the greats.
Of course.
See, that's forethought, Kaz.
Yes, Hannah Snider, the host of the podcast, Keeping It Straight with Georgia. That episode on the 2020 New Year's Eve wrap up. That's coming out soon. Right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
100%.
Strike it when the iron's hot.
Stay tuned for that.
After 2023.
Yeah. I think you should do it still. I think it'll be great.
No, I will. And I'll do a recap of 2021 and make everyone cry, and then I'll do one of 2022. Yeah, we'll just do a whole week, and no one's allowed to sleep until every episode is released.
Look, if you keep putting it off for longer and longer, eventually they just end up becoming time capsules.
Exactly.
of where we were in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said a lot of stupid shit that I probably should never have said on a podcast.
I mean, that's never stopped us from recording and releasing episodes.
True.
We have 4.5 years of us saying stupid shit that we probably shouldn't have said.
That's
oh my
right.
God.
Hannah, you chose Meg Ryan as our topic to talk about today. What was behind that? Why did you choose Meg Ryan? What's your history with Meg Ryan as an actor, as a pop culture icon?
My parents were a big fan of Meg Ryan, and I saw a lot of movies that she's done growing up. You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks, Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks, Joe versus a Volcano with Tom Hanks. So it's like, are they a fan of Tom Hanks? or Meg Ryan. We don't know. But they're a good, like, Hollywood couple. Let's see. She also did fucking D.O.A. with Dennis.
I haven't heard of that one. Not familiar with that.
She did French Kiss with Kevin Kline.
Were you familiar with the movie D.O.A. before this podcast?
No.
Good. So it was a good choice on my part.
Yeah. I also want to reiterate a few times. I was promised, and I want this on record, Meg Ryan movie.
She's in it.
Not Dennis fucking Quaid.
She's second build.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard. All right.
Are you freaking kidding me?
All right, let's get. You want to get into? We'll get into this right now. Okay, so
she's a classic ingenue.
How
that's fine.
The movies get chosen for this podcast. There are a lot of different variables, but the main variable that we have to work with is availability, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
There are only a small handful of streaming services that we have available right now. If I had enough foresight, we also threw this episode together
last minute,
very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So there were maybe only a handful of Meg Ryan movies we could choose that were A, completely anonymous, and B, available for streaming. Now, is this the most anonymous Meg Ryan starring picture? Absolutely not, and we will go into it because we're going to run down her filmography. I will talk about a couple of movies that I would have much more preferred to have done other than this one. This was sort of the better option out of two. It was either this or it was another movie called The Deal, and based on looking at that looked to be primarily a William H. Macy movie that Meg Ryan was second billed in. So really, it was The Devil You Know and The Devil You Don't.
Would you rather watch an entire movie starring Dennis Quaid or William H. Macy? What it boiled down to?
William H. Macy is really fucking good, though. That's the only thing.
He is good, but ultimately, I did give you the option, and I believe you chose D.O.A.
Okay,
did you
yes,
not over The Deal?
All right, fine.
And also, there's the other thing that we have to consider, because we're going to be talking about Meg Ryan's career, we're going to be talking about Meg Ryan's life. Dennis Quaid plays a very significant part in that life.
He definitely does.
You know, so they're intrinsically tied. But yes, I was a little worried when I was planning this and I was making my notes, because we did a trilogy on the films of Linda Hamilton, and one of the walls we ran into with that is that ultimately we didn't really end up watching too many movies that were Linda Hamilton movies. Yeah. We kind of watched a lot of movies that Linda Hamilton had small supporting roles in, and then men were kind of like the focus of the movies. So Hannah, thank you for taking me to task. Thank you for putting my feet over the coals. I want to get better. I want to be an ally. All right,
we want to decolonize in the film industry.
Yes, and it starts with Meg Ryan. But we were a little strained for time, and this was the best I could do. You're not wrong. It's a Dennis Quaid movie that Meg Ryan.
Lay off him, Hannah. He's just a boy.
I'm watching. I'm going like, oh yeah, okay, like cool.
She'll be in it.
She'll
show up.
She's in it. She's in this movie more than Linda Hamilton was in
A Sunday Horse.
A Sunday Horse. Yes.
You know who else is in it that had more of a role than Meg Ryan? Malcolm's mom.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot her name.
Jane Kasmerick. Yeah, Lois. Whatever their last name was. But yeah, I think Meg Ryan has maybe like a little bit more screen time than Jane Kasmerick does. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly equal. Look, it's also like a movie from like the 80s. Mm-hmm. So let's just say roles for women have progressed a little bit better than back then. But yeah, could I have picked something that was a little more Meg focused? Indeed. And if we have the time, I can order a DVD off Amazon, which is the only way you can watch certain movies now. Mm-hmm. There's no video rental stores anymore. The last one in Vancouver closed down.
That's not true. Black Dog is still, I think, over on the west side.
It's like Red Cat now.
What?
That sounds like a joke. That sounds like a joke, but honestly, it is like Red Cat video now.
It went from like anarchist canine to like communist feline.
Why you gotta be an anarchist?
What cheap PR person came up with that?
Why gotta be black?
Legally distinct.
But anyway, anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into Meg Ryan.
Cass, sometimes I feel like you get up in the morning specifically just to run down an actor's filmography. It's your favorite thing in the world to do.
This is how I've cultivated most of my friendships. I find the people who can talk about actors' filmographies. And then the people who don't do that, I put them
out of your life.
No, I mold them into people who talk about actors' filmographies, much like I've done with you, Jameson.
Oh, God.
Which is why we're such good friends now. Because
God.
I forcibly made you give a shit about this stuff.
You just sociopathically manipulated him into your own version of the perfect
Kind of.
Because this started off someone with no personality.
Because this started off as a 24 podcast, and then I'm all like, hey, what if we do this instead? And now 4 years later, here we are.
Jesus Christ. I feel like I just got visited by a cult deprogrammer.
Probably figured out too that 24 sucks.
Yeah, but that's why I wanted to do it. Anyways, let's talk about Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, or Margaret Mary Emily Ann Hyra. Born 1961 in Fairfield, Connecticut. Her parents were both teachers. She has 2 sisters and a brother, Andrew Hyra, a singer-songwriter with both a solo career and a member of the band Billy Pilgrim. Like 3 people out there, the last 3 Billy Pilgrim fans are all like pumping, they're like pumping their fists in there, so like, oh, we said it! Woo! Yeah! Ryan was her grandmother's last name, and she changed it. It is her nom de plume, and is her stage name as it was.
Okay.
She got her start on the soap opera As the World Turns, starring in 31 episodes as Betsy Stewart. Her first movie was 1981's Rich and Famous, the last film from Hollywood icon George Cukor, who directed such classic movies as Gaslight, My Fair Lady. Remember the name George Cukor, because that will come back later. 1983, as with many celebrities, she had an early role in a horror franchise, and in her case, it's Amityville 3D. Warning, in this movie, you are the victim, and there's like a lizard hand coming out of the house.
I remember seeing the trailer for that a long time ago, and like most of the shots are just like, not shot with like the 3D camera like fitted for the movie screen, so it's just a lot of junk getting thrown at the camera.
Well, none of them were back in the day. That was the day of the cardboard blue and red, like none of it was. It was the Wild West of 3D programming. No one knew how it worked.
A simpler time, a better time.
A better time, yes. 1986, she's in the fun but disposable John Candy, Eugene Levy comedy Armed and Dangerous. More importantly, though, she has a small but memorably excellent role in a little film called Top Gun!
Yeah.
I don't know about you two, but this summer before I went to see Top Gun Maverick, I rewatched Top Gun. I don't love that movie as much as everyone else does, but one of the things that I realized as I was watching it is that even in this is like Meg Ryan's like 3rd movie role. It's really early for her. She's so fucking good in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
She only has like such a small little bit, but like she's so memorable. She has great chemistry with Anthony Edwards. Take me to bed or lose me forever. Like, it's great. Like, she really is one of the memorable things about that very memorable movie.
Yeah.
She gets an Indie Spirit nomination for a nothing movie called Promised Land, a gritty drama about wounded male egos and fractured friendships.
Just what the world needs right now.
She plays Kiefer Sutherland's psychotic wife. That's what it says in the synopsis, so I put it in quotes. I don't know anything about this movie. No one knows anything about this movie.
You should have done this movie.
Again,
maybe not
we need
available.
to find it. Here's the thing, Hannah. We need to find these movies. These movies are not easy to find. D.O.A., someone put it all on YouTube. So that's why it was easy to find. Sorry, this is the last time.
Most of these film studios are probably debunked and they sold all their assets off in a fire sale.
All I'm saying is I may know some illegal streaming services.
There's one bootleg copy at Red Cat Video somewhere, buried in the basement in Kitsilano.
I would go to Red Cat Video if it was like that was the thing. Black Dog was up the street from me. I gotta take like a bus and a train to get to Red Cat.
I really hope Red Cat is like the Bizarro version of, so it's like the same guys, but they all have like evil goatees and
like glasses and mustaches on them.
Also in 1987 is the first of 3 films she made with future husband Dennis Quaid, which is Joe Dante's Inner Space.
I have never seen this movie, and I was browsing Meg Ryan movies when we decided we were going to do this, And I saw the trailer for Inner Space and I was like, oh, I really hope we watch this fucking movie. This looks like a blast.
Oh, this is a very fun movie, but this is not a nothing movie. It's
well known.
This is a cult classic.
Is it? I mean,
okay. It's Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins. Steven Spielberg produced it. Yeah, it's a great, fun little movie. Hannah, have you seen this one?
No.
This one, Dennis Quaid plays like this experimental test pilot. It's like a science experiment, and he gets into a ship that gets shrunk down to microscopic size, because I believe it's going to be used in like a surgery, but through hilarious mishaps, he accidentally gets injected into Martin Short. And Dennis Quaid is like bumping around in a little like spaceship inside of Martin Short, and he's bumping into all of his organs, and Martin Short he's getting all wacky. He's knocking things over because Dennis Quaid's making his limbs go all over the place.
Yeah, this little capsule-sized ship is now controlling his entire body too. Hilarious results.
That probably is what Martin Short has right. I mean, just talking about how there's going to be like robot integration in with humans, so maybe that's what they've done for him. He's been around for a while.
Does he talk about that a lot?
What? Being part AI?
Part robot?
No. I'm just making something up.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to do a bit.
Like what?
So like he's in the. I mean, you know.
He's in Only Murders in the Building.
This is an excellent show.
He seems to be doing well.
Yeah, I mean he's playing like an older character, but
he's an older guy.
He's an old man now. Oh boy. Yeah. But yeah, Meg Ryan plays Dennis Quaid's ex-girlfriend, who's like a news reporter, and she teams up with Martin Short to get Dennis Quaid out of his body. It's a fun movie. I haven't seen it in a while. D.O.A. comes out in 1988. Also in 1988 is the year of The Presidio, a cop drama where Sean Connery and Mark Harmon have to work together to solve a crime, and Ryan plays Connery's daughter, but she's also Mark Harmon's girlfriend. That's gonna cause some friction. Wow. I've never seen this movie, but this movie always makes me smile because whenever I see it, I imagine Sean Connery having to say the name.
Like Presidio.
The Presidio. I'm in this new movie called The Presidio.
Is it Presidio or Presidio?
It is the Presidio.
What the hell is a Presidio?
I have no idea, and you know what? We're not going to answer that question here today.
I watched The Prestige mostly to find out what the fuck Prestige meant.
Well, they explained what the Prestige is in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
And then I walked out. No.
Maybe it's 1989. This is where things obviously turn a major corner for Meg Ryan, because in 1989 is the year of a little film called When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have what she's having.
That was
basically it.
Yeah.
The movie was great and may have inspired me to become a journalist. I'm just kidding. Who else was in it? Fuck.
Billy Crystal?
Billy Crystal.
Carrie Fisher.
Thank you, Carrie Fisher. It's basically what put her on the map.
Yep.
Film-wise.
And it's the first film she makes in a series of films with writer-director Nora Ephron. Rob Reiner directed this movie, but Nora Ephron wrote the screenplay, and then they would go on to make several other films together, so that was a long partnership. She works with the same people a bunch of times. She has the same co-stars a bunch of times. She worked with the same directors a couple of times. Speaking of co-stars she works with more often than not, 1990, as you said, is the first time she works with Tom Hanks in Joe versus the Volcano, a movie that I haven't seen, but by all accounts it sounds very wacky.
Fun.
She plays 3 characters in it.
As I recall, it's about Tom Hanks' character is dying. No.
I think he's dying.
He's either dying or an old man who is dying gives him all the money in the world to kind of do whatever the hell he wants, with the stipulation being that he has to throw himself into a volcano.
He was diagnosed with a brain fog, which meant like he had a certain amount of time to live. But can I just spoil it for everyone? Just go ahead.
Does he not jump into the volcano? Does he get together with Meg Ryan at the end?
He does jump into the volcano. But like Meg Ryan, though, I think she plays like 3 different sisters.
Oh.
So it was their father is the doctor that diagnosed him with a brain fog, but it turned out he never actually had the brain fog. He just had to live his fucking life and jump into a volcano and get exploded.
Gotcha.
And then he survived. And then they like sail off in a suitcase into the...
Oh, okay. So the volcano explodes, but then then a rock comes up and he has to sea surf something.
It's more like they land on this island, and then Meg Ryan, I forget how her character at the end comes to be, but they're on this island, and then like they get married to like in the traditional sense of the indigenous people of this island, and then they have to sacrifice themselves by jumping into a volcano because he thinks I'm already gonna die,
one of those things,
and then he doesn't. It just explodes, and then they like land, crash into the sea.
I don't want to stay on this forever, but how does he survive the magma?
I imagine
that it blows up, but but I imagine the lava would set them aflame.
They just, tell each other that they love each other.
Volcanoes, I mean, power of love is great and everything, but volcanoes...
Volcanic powers,
very dangerous.
The point is that there was no fucking brain fog. No, a brain cloud. He had a brain cloud.
Some kind of weather phenomenon.
His life was so fucking boring beforehand that he had no ambition and nothing to live for. And, sometimes we have to jump into a volcano to fulfill our purpose and our dream.
I'm just going to say brain cloud, brain fog. Doesn't sound that fatal to me. So it sounds like you could probably survive.
Sounds like if you take some B12s and go for a walk and maybe go for a swim, you'll be okay. Oh, and read a book and put down your phone.
Yeah, all of this was in the movie. This was in the 1990 movie Joe versus the Volcano. They said, put your phone down. And of course, they were talking about the landline phone.
And take your omega-3s.
Yeah, absolutely. 1991, she's in the Oliver Stone biography, The Doors.
Yeah. That's right. Fuck yeah.
A movie that I watched an embarrassingly large amount times when I was in my early 20s until I hit a point when I realized, wait a second, The Doors kind of suck. And Jim Morrison was not a good dude.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't put this band on a pedestal as much as I'm doing. Val Kilmer is amazing in that movie.
To be fair, most 17-year-old boys go through a Jim Morrison phase.
Right, which is why I went through my Jim Morrison phase at 23. Right.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning that in 1991, she did 13 episodes of Captain Planet and the Planeteers as the villainous Dr. Blight. There she is.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing that a lot of people forget is that the whole deal with Captain Planet is that it had all of the villains were voiced by big-time celebrities.
Not true.
Jeff Goldblum, I believe, was Verminous Scum. Martin Sheen, I think, was one of the bad guys. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I got a real soft spot for just the sexy bad ladies.
Hey, Jameson, show a little respect, all right? It's Dr. Blight, all right? not Madam Blight, okay? She didn't go. She didn't go to evil eco-terrorist college just for you to call her a vixen. All right, let's throw a little respect on the name.
Wow, what an ally, Cass.
I'm sorry, is she an eco-terrorist or is Captain Planet an eco-terrorist?
No, he's trying to save the planet. That's his thing, right?
Yeah, but eco-terrorism, you know what, never mind.
I was literally having this conversation with my boyfriend the other night, and we were talking about Captain Planet, and he was trying to remember all of the powers and everything. We were going through them all, and he couldn't remember fire. He remembered one of them was heart, but he couldn't remember the fifth one, and then I was all it's fire, and he's all how is that a helpful power? How does fire help the planet? And I'm all that's actually an excellent point. I never thought of that before. They're just going around fucking flamethrowing everything. Yes, Hannah, yes, please.
My very educated, academic, environmentally friendly brain. I'm pretty sure
it's natural forest fires, right?
Just shake your face. just stop talking. So, back to eco-terrorists. I think Captain Planet is the hero, but he's labeled as an eco-terrorist by governments because of people blockading and saving old growth. I think they're known as eco-terrorists. Anyways, I don't know. But
different cartoon.
But fires are used to clear the brush that's old.
Sure.
Dead.
Yeah, cleansing
and then
fire.
it starts the whole cycle again. So
sure, but it's a very specific use. It's fire is useful for the rainforests for cultivating stuff. But it's not an everyday thing, you know. It's the fire guy in Captain Planet only got to use his powers every so often, and all the other times it's oh god, my skin is melting off. It's not great. It's not a great PR look.
I'm blistering.
In 1992, she is in a completely unhinged movie called Prelude to a Kiss. You familiar with this one?
No.
So, based on the poster, it just looks like your average run-of-the-mill Meg Ryan, Alec Baldwin romance movie. How Did This Get Made did an episode on this recently. This movie is secretly nuts. So what this is a movie, Alec Baldwin marries Meg Ryan. They fall in love and they become man and wife. And then over the course of the movie, he realizes that during their wedding, a random old man came and was a guest at the wedding. and he asked if he could kiss the bride, and so he kissed the bride, and when that happened, he transferred his consciousness into Meg Ryan's body, and her consciousness went into his body. So for the entirety of the movie, Meg Ryan is secretly an old man.
Wow.
I won't go into it any more than that, because there's an entire How Did This Get Made episode about it. But I was listening to this, I'm all like, that's what that movie's about? Because I remember seeing this poster, and I'm all like, that poster does not belie the fact that this is the most insane premise of any movie I've ever heard.
Also, that doesn't look like Alec Baldwin. It looks like John Cusack.
He used to be very young.
Yeah, that's young.
Here's the thing about Alec Baldwin. He used to be a very
Understandable.
attractive man.
What a bait and switch that must have been for like a date night at the theater.
Oh, yes. I can only imagine. So 1993 is her final movie that she makes with Dennis Quaid. It's a drama called Flesh and Bone. The plot of this movie is that Quaid and Ryan are a couple, but the secret that he's keeping is that his dad, played by James Caan, murdered her family when she was a baby. So that's sort of like the big reveal that's leading up to. Again, this is a bit of a nothing movie. We could have watched this. Hannah, if it was available. Okay, anyway,
I don't know. It depends on how often Dennis Quaid is written into the script.
Well, he's first billed, so I imagine probably quite a bit.
It just ends up being James Caan the whole time.
His conscious transferred into Meg Ryan.
Every third movie she makes is secretly a body swap movie. Also in 1993, she made a little movie called Sleepless in Seattle.
Fuck yeah.
Heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay, one of my favorites. Also, she is kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, this is that thing where like they recut the trailer for this as a horror movie and it didn't really change the plot at all.
Like it's a good script. Again, another Nora Ephron classic.
This one she directed.
But it's still like I'm sorry, like, ladies, listen.
Girl talk.
Listen, ladies.
He's not your fucking soulmate, okay? Just because you hear him on a podcast.
It was a radio show. Podcast didn't exist back then.
I know. You're not, like, just stick with the guy that's already put the fucking ring on your finger, who's actually kind of nice.
Who is that?
You're not going to be married for very long.
Is that Bill Pullman in that movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Bill Pullman had a real run where he was the other guy who got left for like other people. That was like every role he played for like a solid 4-year period.
He's as good at playing like the average Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
the unexciting Joe.
Like because his character's name is Walter, and then when she was like, "Has anyone ever
Red
called
flag.
you?" Red flag. Has anyone ever called you anything other than Walter? He's like, no. It's like, oh. It's like,
what
not
else would they
exciting
call
enough
him?
for you,
His
bitch.
name?
Walt?
Good God. Wally? How's that?
There you go.
You want to fuck a guy named Wally? Just scream his name?
Oh,
You're really
man.
good at having an orgasm at a fucking dinner table. I'm pretty sure that you can pull that off.
I won't have what she's having.
I'll pass. Thank you.
Listen, I've had a handful of Wallies in my life, and I have no complaints. All right, moving on.
And a handful of Willies.
That was implied. That was the implication.
Wally's
Oh
Willie.
my God.
1994. She is in When a Man Loves a Woman, which is
right.
lovely little drama where she plays an alcoholic. She got some good reviews for this. This was almost her Oscar movie, but Meg Ryan never nominated for an Oscar. Also in 1994, she's in a cute little movie called IQ.
Oh, that's right.
Tim Robbins is like a average salt of the earth car mechanic, and she is a lady from like high society or whatever, and he wants to get together with her, so he seeks the help of her uncle, who just happens to be Albert Einstein, played by Walter Matthau.
Well, there you go, high society.
Well, high society, I mean, as high society, I'm sure, as like Albert Einstein lived in.
Academic elitist.
Yeah. It's like, what's speculative fiction? Is that the term? When it's like you're taking something from real life, but you're making it up? Because obviously Albert Einstein did not play matchmaker for his niece and a car mechanic, but like...
He could have.
He could have! You can't prove that he didn't!
Was Einstein even married? Was he married?
Oh yeah, he was
think
married. He was married. Wasn't he married to his cousin?
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Well, that was a little more accepted back in the
Sure.
day.
Yeah.
Sure.
And in Westeros.
And in Westeros, yes. He was just doing what Einstein did.
Parallel universe.
Einstein did take the black. Yes, that is true. Yes. 1995, as you mentioned earlier, she's in French Kiss. I haven't seen this movie. Good.
You haven't? It's good.
A good one.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a lot of Meg Ryan. I really need to kind of like catch up on my Meg Ryan.
Who plays her disgraced fiance who ditches her for some French bitch? And that's actually line in the movie. Because he was married to Susan Sarandon. No. No, that was Tim Robbins.
I'm trying to look. I can look.
Jean Reno?
It's not Jean Reno. I'm sure Jean Reno is the thing. But anyway, yeah,
Timothy Hilton?
Yes!
Timothy Hutton.
Yeah.
Another great other guy actor. Not the lead, but the...
Can I just say, like, we've been scrolling through these posters, and this is, I think, the first time that Meg Ryan is top billed.
Yeah. Good point.
Written first on the poster.
Good.
Also, do we have any issue to Kevin Kline playing a Frenchman?
I'm sure the accent isn't great, but who gives a crap? Because he's the most charming man on the planet. Okay. So I'm perfectly fine with that.
Wow.
1995, she's also in a movie called Restoration, which is a period costume drama about a king's physician that stars Robert Downey Jr., Sam Neill, Ian McKellen, and Hugh Grant. It won 2 Oscars and is entirely forgotten by everyone.
No,
except Hannah Snider, who recognized this.
It was good. No, she plays like an Irish woman who does end up marrying Robert Downey Jr.'s character. But yeah, she was a poor Irish woman and they did get married and have a kid. But he came from like the courts of King Charles at the time as a doctor and a scientist. But it's nice because like it is... Like how you said before, it's like taking a factual event, like historical
speculative fiction.
Yeah, and it does talk a lot about that time period too, where there was a lot of like, you know, they're not following church rules anymore and they're going more into sciences, and then there was a big plague happening at the time. So anyway,
you may have heard of it.
The costumes are gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Well, I won the Oscar for costume, so it looks like a costume drama. All right, well, I'm thrilled you've heard of it because I was looking this up and I'm all like, this is one of like those like big awards baity movies that come out in like the 90s, and I just straight up have never heard of this before. I've never even heard of it. I've never seen a trailer.
I would suggest date night movie.
Oh, hey. All right, there we go. You don't know the programs we often watch on my date nights, but who knows? You could be into it.
Okay.
Could be into
Let's
it.
do some speculative fiction of our own.
That's called slash fiction. And it's not allowed. In 1996, she's in Courage Under Fire, another movie I haven't seen. But I hear she's pretty good in it. Denzel Washington is investigating her death. That's not a spoiler because that happens at the beginning of the movie, but he's investigating what happened and whether or not she is eligible for a posthumous Medal of Honor, basically. So it's told in like flashbacks, I believe.
Oh my god, it's killing me. He's one of the actors.
Are you trying to think of? Is it Matt Damon?
No.
Matt Damon is in that movie.
He is in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's a very early role for Matt Damon.
No,
the year before Good Will Hunting.
Who's the guy that did La Bamba?
Oh, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Thank you. Yeah, so he plays a certain character who is not the cause of her death, but is sort of they kind of antagonize each other because they're a part of the same, like, I don't know, army group. I don't
Platoon.
know. Thank you. I don't know my military.
No, Army Group is the title.
Army Group, yeah. Your militant posse.
Oliver Stone's Best Picture winning film, Army Group. 1997, she's in Addicted to Love. Her ex and Matthew Broderick's ex get together, and then they're all like, let's break them up. But is love gonna happen to them? I haven't seen that movie either.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, sorry. So again, I've seen a lot of fucking Meg Ryan films.
Great.
Plays like another crazy psycho. Not gonna lie. Again, if the relationship's over, don't stalk.
Yeah, a lot of these romantic comedies are like,
I know,
just pure sociopathy.
Yeah, it's weird. But
teaches people a lot of the wrong lessons when it comes to let's sidebar on this. Like a lot of like romance in like film and TV just teaches like a lot of bad lessons to people. Yeah. And every time I see, and it's still like built into me, and I have to like unlearn it. Like even like the other day, I'm just watching whatever I was watching, and there was like a romance, and I'm all like, oh, that's nice. Oh, like a grand gesture. Oh, like that would be nice to have like a romance like that. And I have to remind myself every time, no, that's not what real romances are. Yeah. And if you attempt to do that, you're gonna come off like a psychopath.
Yeah, pining over someone is not romantic. It's obsessive, and you shouldn't do it.
Also in 1997, she provides the titular voice to Anastasia.
That was her?
That is Meg Ryan.
Okay.
Not like cheesy like most cartoons, and it's DreamWorks too, so it doesn't have like.
Well, 20th Century Fox.
Oh, it's Fox.
Actually, this is a Don Bluth movie, okay. And it is the Don Bluth movie where Don Bluth said, "Fuck it, I'll just copy Disney. I'll just make a photocopy of a Disney movie, and then I feel like the legacy of Anastasia." Anastasia. I'm saying Anastasia because I'm watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, and he says Anastasia Beverly Hills every episode.
That's probably.
For years, like Anastasia's legacy was all like, oh, that Disney movie Anastasia, and everyone thought it was a Disney movie. But now Disney bought Fox, so it is a Disney movie, and you can watch it on Disney Plus now.
And again, another speculative fiction story, because he took that from an actual account of where a woman was like, I survived. I'm like the Romanov sisters that survived, and then it's like, no, you didn't.
No, she was murdered as a child.
She was murdered that was in the basement.
Less of a
They killed that little girl. That little girl was murdered with bullets.
Yeah. Thank God Don Bluth decided to go the Disney route with that story. Let's polish this up a little.
1998, she is in the play adaptation Hurly Burly, which is an ensemble dark comedy about Hollywood phonies. It's got a big cast: Sean Penn, Kevin Spacey, Robin Wright Penn. We can see Kevin Spacey's gross bleach blonde hair in that poster there, which is the grossest thing you can say about Kevin Spacey. Also in 1998, she's in City of Angels.
Damn, yeah!
Big fan.
It's not a great movie. I mean, it's a remake of the Wim Wenders foreign film Wings of Desire. It was a weird movie to remake for Hollywood audiences.
It's one of those where it's like, it is well done to the point that it does stick with you, but then when you watch it, you still cringe. So it's like, and some of the cinematography is good, and then they try to do like the whole like artsy late 90s style with like certain artistic scenes and weird lighting, and anyways, and then it's Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's Nicolas Cage. At his cagiest. This was coming immediately off of the 1-2-3 punch of The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off. So this was him dipping back into
serious
movies, and I don't think people largely went for it.
Fishburne is also in this one too.
I think Andre Braugher is the.
I hate to be that person.
That's
the other man.
The other man. Yes, the other man. No other association to be made with him whatsoever. 1998, a big year for her. 3 movies. She's also in the aforementioned You've Got Mail.
Boom! Yes. Fuck yeah.
Does this movie hold up?
Oh my god. It's so fucking good. It's so good.
How good is it?
It's so good. And it's based on
it's another remake.
It's another remake from Shop Around the Corner. Yeah, and I don't know, if you're like a weird literary journalist, writing nerd like myself who happens to be one, then it's like this movie kind of like speaks to your heart, because she's a bookshop keeper who like carries on legacy of her mom, kind of shows into the world of like the literary world of New York in a way, and like the press world, and anyways.
I believe her boyfriend in that one that she ultimately leaves Tom Hanks for is Greg Kinnear, yet another actor who primarily plays other guys in stuff. Other way around?
No, she's living with Greg.
She's living with Greg, yes.
And then leaves him.
Leaves him for Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie. Naturally, yes.
Yeah,
also in that movie, Tom Hanks' best friend is played by Dave Chappelle. That's maybe the one thing that maybe doesn't hold up all that well. Just a believable friendship that you would buy as two guys who totally hang out all the time.
Leaving Greg Kinnear for Tom Hanks?
What?
Anyways.
It's Tom Hanks, the most likable guy on the planet.
Sure.
He's so affable. She must love Tom Hanks. She keeps leaving people for Tom Hanks. She keeps doing it over and over again.
This is the third time she's done it, I assume.
So she actually made back-to-back Nora Ephron movies. She made this, and then the final movie they made together is from 2000. It's Hanging Up.
Yes, this one's a good one.
Which isn't a Nora Ephron directed movie. She did write it with her sister. This movie instead was directed by Diane Keaton, who, along with Meg Ryan and Lisa Kudrow, play 3 sisters. Their dad is dying, once again played by Walter Matthau, in, I believe, his final movie. Also in 2000, a movie that's a significant movie for Meg Ryan, even though no one hardly ever thinks about it or really remembers what the plot is. But from 2000, she also made Proof of Life, which is significant because it is the movie where she fell in love and had an affair with Russell Crowe, and the marriage to Dennis Quaid broke up, and the media was not very nice to Meg Ryan. In fact, they were kind of terrible, and that really kind of derailed her career in a way that, frankly, she really wasn't able to recover from, and that just really sucks all the way around. And it's funny that it came from a movie that no one fucking remembers.
I mean, like, I had no idea that was going on. I always just assumed that, she's the queen of romantic comedies. Everyone fucking loved Meg Ryan at the time, like throughout all the 90s. Nothing could bring her down from that pedestal. I thought she was like her and Tom Hanks are just like the most likable people in Hollywood. I had no idea that her star had been scuffed by the media.
It's kind of sad, and it's one of those where it's like you can't just be fucking human, because she did come out with an interview saying like, I was already having issues with Dennis Quaid before I got involved with Russell Crowe.
Yeah, and also people's personal lives aren't really anyone's business.
It's
it's the two faces of being a celebrity. It's just the fact that we all assume that we have the right to make comments on what people want to do with their life, and like it's still happening today. Like people are giving Olivia Wilde shit right now because she divorced Jason Sudeikis and is with Harry Styles, and it's all like that's absolutely none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
Like, dude, fuck off. Let her live her own fucking life. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Just let her make movies.
She also ended up getting served on stage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which a lot of people are angry at Jason Sudeikis for. That's nothing to do with him. That's whoever the process server was. That was whoever's serving the papers doesn't have any say in when or where they'll get served. That asshole process server was trying to give himself like 10 seconds of fame or whatever.
And also, I'm not by any means an advocate on infidelity and adultery, but two adults having a consensual relationship is benign to other like stars and members of Hollywood and their personal lives that come out into the light. So it's like, you don't have to give Meg Ryan any shit for just having a relationship with someone.
We're almost done.
Yeah, we're coming up to an hour here.
Okay, all right.
Wrap it up.
Jameson's tapping his watch like a disappointed father, driving someone to a skateboard shop. 2001, she's in Kate and Leopold.
Oh, this one's good.
A movie that I remember I had a VHS of something, and there was a trailer for Kate and Leopold on it, so I watched that trailer a bunch. And the line that always sticks in my head is the policewoman comes up to Hugh Jackman and she says, "I suggest you pick the poop up." And that was a line that I always remembered. And about the time, years later, when I finally got around to watching Kate and Leopold, I'm all like, oh, here comes the cop. Oh, she's going to say the poop line. And then she says the poop line. And then I realized, holy shit, that's Viola Davis.
Oh.
So,
really?
just remember,
Amazing.
Folks,
there are no small roles.
There are no small roles. At one point in time, Oscar winner Viola Davis was the poop lady in Kate and Leopold. So it can happen to anyone. 2003, she's in The Cut, which is a sexy, violent thriller from director Jane Campion. This movie got absolutely savage when it got released. Just like horrible reviews, and they ran her through the ringer. But recently, it's undergone a bit of a cultural reappraisal, and now a lot of people are saying, no, actually, this movie was great. This movie was great the entire time. I mean, like, Jane Campion just won the Oscar, so people are kind of reappraising her entire body of work, and this is something definitely worth checking out. 2004, she's in Against the Ropes, where it's based on a true story, where she's a female boxing promoter. 2007, she's in The Land of Women.
Oh yeah, this one shot in my hometown.
Oh yeah? Yeah, she plays Kristen Stewart's mom. Adam Brody has romances with both of them because it was 2007 and everyone loved Adam Brody.
See,
that's the show he was in. 2008, she's in The Deal, which is the movie we almost watched with William H. Macy. It's like a showbiz satire. Didn't look great. 2008, she's in the movie I would have loved to have done, Hannah. This is the movie I would have wanted to do if it was available to watch anywhere. She's in a film called My Mom's New Boyfriend, where Colin Hanks plays her son, who is an
that kind of tracks.
Who is an FBI agent, and she starts dating Antonio Banderas, who he thinks is an art thief. I gotta track my mom's new boyfriend. It looks fucking terrible. Meg Ryan, for the first half of the movie, is in an embarrassing fat suit. Then I guess when she starts dating Antonio Banderas, she loses all the weight. It looks horrendous. It was terrible. I wish we could have watched it.
Antonio, no.
No one is safe from being in a crappy movie.
Like, how do we feel about Colin Hanks? I've hardly seen any.
I like him.
I like him.
Yeah.
Of the two Hanks offspring, he's clearly the better one. So
what's wrong with Chad?
What isn't wrong with him?
First off, it's Chet, which is so much worse. Also in 2008, it was a big year for terrible movies for Meg. She's also in yet another remake of The Women.
This one's okay, not that bad, and I like Annette Bening, and I like Deborah Messing.
But this is yet another remake, a remake of a 1939 movie directed by George Cukor, who directed the first movie she was ever in. So it all came full circle,
Gotcha.
except it didn't because she made other movies past this. But yeah, 2009, she's in a film called Serious Moonlight. Look at this, back with Timothy Hutton.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
I thought that was Fred Armisen for a second.
A little bit from that angle, yeah. But this is a movie where Timothy Hutton is leaving Meg Ryan for Kristen Bell, and she doesn't like that, so she beats him up and duct tapes him to a chair, and hilarity ensues.
That's exactly what you do when you find your husband committing adultery.
She's done that in like 3 other movies, and she did it like in real life too with Russell Crowe.
She's a badass.
Bit of a hypocrite, if you ask me.
Is that well known that she duct taped Russell Crowe
to
a chair
but...
to get him to stop throwing phones at people? Yeah. Remember that reference?
Yeah.
And the final movie in Meg Ryan's filmography, because it just stops after a while, is 2015's Ithaca, which is also her debut as a director. This is an insanely boring movie that I watched like a couple of years ago. It's a period drama about a young telegram messenger in the 1940s, and she also twisted Tom Hanks's arm to come back and play her dead husband in a couple of scenes. So this is also the final Tom Hanks Meg Ryan movie, and it should not be watched by anyone because it's boring as sin, and I don't recommend it. But yeah, she directed it, and she hasn't appeared in a movie since 2015. Meg Ryan, where are you gone?
It stars her son.
It stars her son, Jack Quaid, yes. Who's excellent, who's in The Boys and the Scream movie, yeah. She has like one movie kind of in development. She's directing apparently another movie called What Happens Later, which is a romance between her and David Duchovny. But yeah, other than that, that's it for Meg Ryan. Because I guess the roles dried up, and I guess she was tired of dealing with the Hollywood bullshit. But yeah, that's the filmography. So yeah, we've been going for an hour. So yeah, is there anything you want to add on to the Meg Ryan discussion before we switch gears and start talking about D.O.A?
Yeah, she is sister-in-law to Randy Quaid.
Well, ex-sister-in-law to Randy Quaid.
Yeah, but I just want that's
that is true. They had many a family dinner together.
I just want to know how Randy feels about how more attractive his brother is. And
well, I'm sure he's thrilled.
I mean, used to be. I mean, Dennis Quaid nowadays is kind of a dried up orange that's been left out in the sun for a while. Yeah, I don't know. Less said about Dennis Quaid, probably the better. Neither of the Quaid brothers are terribly nice people.
Because I know Randy Quaid just became a straight up libertarian and just fucking left and got an RV.
And is also just an unhinged person. Yes, he's somewhere in Vancouver right now.
Oh my God, where are you?
Yeah, where are you?
What are we waiting for? Come on the show. We want to discuss your filmography.
Welcome
and to only your filmography.
Oh my God, that would be a great podcast. Searching for Randy Quaid. Where are they?
But then the people that are hunting him will come after us.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Where in Vancouver is Randy Quaid?
Randy Quaid and his wife.
Don't tempt me. Oh my God.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
No.
All right. Shall we take a break?
Please.
All right, we'll take a break.
I have all these notes for D.O.A.
All right, well, we'll come back and we'll talk about D.O.A.
All right.
Here we go. Right now in Vancouver, a growing issue is homelessness. In multiple areas of the city, but especially in the downtown East Hastings area, people with nowhere else to go have set up a growing community of tents that is expanding so quickly it is beginning to spill over into the streets. So far, rather than approach the situation with empathy or compassion, the city has resorted to intimidation as huge squads of the VPD have forcibly removed these people, many of whom are indigenous, mentally ill, or suffering from substance addiction, with little care into where they go next. With every passing month, new plots of land are being developed for condominiums that could be used for low-income housing. But we all continue to turn our heads when 4 or 5 new tents pop up in our neighborhoods. And while the knee-jerk reaction is to turn one's head to avoid the unnecessary eyesore, what we should be doing is thinking of the people inside the tents. That's why today's charity is the ShelterNet BC Society. SNBC is a provincial membership-driven organization whose purpose is to provide support to and enhance the capacity of organizations in British Columbia that serve the homeless and those at risk of homelessness. SNBC provides trading, network opportunities, and research regarding homelessness services providers across British Columbia. Their mandate is to build the confidence and capacity of those who work with our most vulnerable populations. To make a donation, visit canadahelps.org and search for ShelterNet BC, or follow the link in our episode description. And we're back! So D.O.A. It is a remake of a 1949 film starring Edmund O'Brien and Pamela Britton. I like how on this poster here they anticipated the joke that everyone was going to make about the thing. Is all like, D.O.A. I'll tell you what else is D.O.A. This movie, because you can see the tagline is a picture as excitingly different as its title. So they were trying to get get ahead of it. All the people that were making the same lame joke here. But much like the movie Night of the Living Dead, due to some improperly filed paperwork, resulted in the film slipping into the public domain. Oh. So it's been remade a bunch of times, including 1969's Color Me Dead, which is an amazing title. Yeah. Sounds like a Troy McClure movie. And also 2017's Dead on Arrival, which is just the name of the movie. Also, the plot does bear an ever so slight resemblance to the Jason Statham classic Crank, but I am going to call that a bit of a reach. That's a bit of a coincidence, yeah. But as I was watching them all, like, oh, this reminds me of something. But 1988's D.O.A. is directed by Annabelle Jankel and Rocky Morton, a pair of married British filmmakers who started in music videos for Elvis Costello, Talking Heads, and Rush, before going on to create an iconic piece of 80s nostalgia in Max Headroom.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. Now, I did a little bit of research into this, and I could not begin to tell you what Max Headroom is. It was a TV show. It was like he was like a VJ. He hosted like music video shows. It was a short film.
It was a music video lead-in, I believe.
It started off as that, and then they like turned it into like a bunch of different other media.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where the host character they try to make as a recurring franchise character, like the Crypt Keeper or Elvira.
And he is a piece of like iconography, like the image of Max Headroom has lasted long after what it is and what the deal with it is has faded from memory. People do remember like this iconic thing. They remember how he's always glitching and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, they're the ones who created Max Headroom. Then they moved into movies. They were offered to be the original directors of Child's Play, but before that fell through, and then they ended up directing D.O.A. And then their movie after that is a little film you might have heard of called Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, dear.
Yes, they are the directors
oh my God.
of the live-action Super Mario Brothers movie.
No. We don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time to talk about this because that is a rabbit hole and that's an entirely different podcast. Yeah. But that was a fabulous, tumultuous shoot. It basically ended their film careers and it also ended their marriage. They broke up shortly after that. Rocky Morton has gone on to do nothing. He essentially has disappeared from filmmaking. Annabelle Jankel still directs some stuff. She took a long break, and then in 2009 she came back with a TV movie called Skellig the Owlman.
Oh, that sounds great.
With Tim Roth. And in 2018 she did a lesbian drama with Anna Paquin called Tell It to the Bees. Yeah, so she's still out there. She's still doing stuff. So yeah, there we go. From the directors of Super Mario Brothers, it's D.O.A.
A not-so-super remake.
All right, so shall we get into this now?
Sure. All right. God damn, this movie, now that you say that it is a remake, I can totally see it. I assume like that first D.O.A. is like more of a film noir kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's from the era of film noir.
Yeah, to the point where like the movie even like acknowledges that it's like from the film noir era through the use of black and white bookending the movie and just like certain camera angles and zooms that are very reminiscent of film noir. And it's fresh in my mind because I had gone to that film noir festival and I saw Sunset Boulevard recently. So yeah, so I was like picking up on that kind of stuff, and I thought this is like kind of like a throwback to those kind of movies. And like, oh no, this is just a straight
this is a
bad remake. Yeah,
I'm already sensing the attitude that you have. Hannah, I haven't quite like parsed it out here. I definitely like this movie a lot more than you did.
Okay.
But I suppose we will get to that. We will cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, as you say, like it opens in black and white, and it has just a phenomenal transition. But why don't you let's explain sort of like the beats of what happens.
Yeah, it opens with Dennis Quaid's character named Dex Cornell. He staggers into a police station, and he says like, I need to report a murder.
I want to see Brockton. Or over.
Yeah? What about?
A murder.
Who's murdered?
I was.
Bam! I mean, like, what a great opening line. Like, you can sell an entire movie just on that premise alone.
That is such
It's a great... What are you talking about? I love it.
It's so corny. It feels like the kind of jokey line that they would write in for a fake movie that is intentionally bad.
Yeah, like I said, it's a Troy McClure movie.
Oh, God. So... he gets taken into questioning, and we, flash back to, like, 72 hours earlier.
But I just want to talk about, like, this transition, because this transition is amazing. Because as you say, yeah, the movie is bookended with these black and white sequences. So, yeah, when he's in the cop station, it's in black and white, and then when it transitions into him telling the story of what happens, it transitions into color. Mm-hmm. But it transitions in such a brilliant way, because it goes into him, he's in a classroom, he's a professor, and he's teaching a literary course, and he's specifically talking about, like, the use of color as a metaphor. Mm. So he's written the word color on the blackboard, and everything's in black and white, but then it goes over to the blackboard, and it focuses on, as soon as it focuses on the word color, that's when the movie transitions into color!
That was
it's
clever.
It's good filmmaking!
That was clever, I'll
it's
give it
cool!
That. Yeah.
I liked it.
Hannah,
thoughts?
You get to be the tiebreaker.
I'm getting very enthusiastic about it, but I thought that was a cool fucking transition.
So I thought so too, but from the beginning to the transition of where he's writing color, it's just, I'm like, it just wants to be a Lynch film. It's not...
Did it? I didn't get that far.
That's just what I got, but I'm not going to elaborate anymore.
You got so, I mean... Please elaborate. That's the whole point of the podcast. We brought you in to elaborate.
Again, just like the neo-noir with it and then writing on it. Also, fun fact, second film, even though this is a Meg Ryan episode.
You wouldn't know it.
But this is Dennis Quaid's second time that I know of playing an absolute schmuck of an English professor.
Oh, it can't be the last time he's played that role. He's probably played that role like 18 times by this point. What was the other movie?
Smart People.
Ah, okay.
With Sarah Jessica Parker and Thomas Hayden Church and Elliot Page.
Yes. Never saw it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's teaching the class. We forgot to mention the detective who's grilling him is our old buddy Brian James.
Yeah.
Staten Jack Rose.
Back at it again.
Now
on the other side of the law.
Oh, now
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, always happy to see him.
Yeah. So, but anyways, in this classroom, I just want to take this opportunity right now to talk about the dialogue. My God. I know what they're trying to do, but I can't stomach snappy, pithy, witty dialogue in a drama.
This was the wrong movie for you.
I like that style of dialogue in a comedy where, like, everything's meant to be exaggerated and funny. But in this very face value, serious crime drama, it's very unrealistic. No human talks like this.
I'm just going to say half of my notes are just lines that I wrote down that I think are great.
Professor Cornell, my novel, you really haven't...
Graded it? Finished it?
Either.
Neither.
But you said you'd have it graded this week.
Yes, well, Nick, this heat put me a little bit behind schedule.
I haven't shown it to anyone else yet, Professor.
Well, what should I do? Should I feel privileged or singled out from persecution?
Your opinion means a great deal to me. And it's not because you're my professor, it's because of your body of work.
Yeah, sentence, body, corpse, carcass, cadaver.
If you don't like my novel, I'll die. No, I will. I'll stop writing.
Oh, even worse.
I spent the whole semester sweating out on that thing.
Well, Nick, it took Hugo 16 years to write Les Miserables.
Yeah, but it only takes a couple of days to read it.
Yeah.
Come on, anything, any comment, anything to tie me through.
Nice typing.
They're clever, but they're too clever. No two people have conversations like this.
I don't think we have ever done a movie on the podcast where we are immediately at cross purposes quite as much as we are as this.
Sure,
this is great. This is going to be the entire podcast. Is just
Hannah's just taking.
You're gonna say why something sucks, and then I'm gonna counter with why it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's great. Sorry, please continue.
Anyways, there are two students that of note in this scene. One is Meg Ryan, who plays Sydney, who is just like this doting super fan of this author turned English or literary professor. Who's like, I'm a fan of all your books. I followed you around forever. I've been working up the nerve to talk to you because I'm such a huge fan of yours. He's like, yeah, whatever, fuck you. And then he leaves. And
he's a little more gentle than that.
Fine.
He's a delicate touch.
Less so.
Okay, Hannah's got some thoughts.
He's not very gentle. Like, for her, yeah, he kind of writes her off. Prior to that, though, one interesting thing with Megan's character and what they wrote in is, like, she was laughing a lot during the lecture because he was being flippant and snippy with a lot of his students with asking them questions during the lecture, like a professor should. But she has this, just from an actress perspective, I guess, just her overall acting skill, she has like this very iconic laugh.
Oh yeah.
And so you would hear her giggle and be like, oh, that's like the Meg Ryan laugh, and then she does this like ha at the end, and it's like, it's just very iconic. And so that was also embellishing a lot more on her character and what the relationship, kind of foreshadowing what the relationship would be, because she has at first this admiration for him, tries to get the book signed, blah blah blah. Anyways, just wanted to point that out. But what was I talking about how he like doesn't like his students?
Well, he certainly doesn't like the other student that I want to talk about,
definitely.
Nick Lang.
Well, he doesn't like anyone, but we'll get around to
Yeah.
that.
So Nick Lang is this.
He loves his wife.
That's true. The only person he does love, and guess what? She doesn't love him back. The other student, Nick Lang, he's this very overeager student of his who's just like really pining for him to read his manuscript, read his book, give him some kind of notes. Dennis Quaid basically just brushes him off, doesn't give a shit. And
Nick is played by Robert Nepper, who was in Prison Break as a teabag.
That's right.
Yeah, he's also a horrible human being. Also, you said there's two students of note. There's actually three students of note, because there's the student who's sleeping, played by future Oscar nominee John Hawkes. From Winter's Bone and Marcy May Marlene and other great movies that Jameson has no idea what I'm talking about.
No, don't know these movies, don't know this actor.
He's a great actor. I don't know. Look him up, John Hawkes.
Yeah,
anyway, he's got like a little bit part.
He stole that scene. Yeah,
He did.
This movie needed more of him.
He was sleepy.
Anyways, that Nick guy, he dies, and it's ruled as a suicide because he jumps off the building.
Keeps quoting Shakespeare. That is, like, I got kind of confused with the characters, because there was one asshole sitting in the front that kept quoting Shakespeare during the whole time.
Yeah.
And then
was that not him? That was Nick.
That was Nick.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's a writer actor. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his two
When
majors
he was,
are like
begging him to read his manuscript. It was like his character's own character changed.
Mm-hmm.
He went from being like the cool guy that's trying to outsmart the professor to then suddenly like this cowardly,
desperate for approval.
Yeah.
But Nick is desperate for any sort of gratification, any sort of acknowledgement. Like, he just wants Dennis Quaid to read his book, and Dennis Quaid's all like, I got better things to do. I'm a burnt out college professor. I don't got time to read my students' homework.
I had one, like they mentioned that he had one brilliant book and that landed him a tenure teaching position, and then like the next like subsequent books of his have all sucked or had like diminishing returns. Hasn't published anything in years.
Yeah, he wrote 4 books, and someone has said 3 of them are good, and the 4th one sucked.
Yeah.
And then after the 4th one sucked, he just stopped. And
he
gave up. And he gave up on life.
Yeah,
and that's where he's at right now.
He lost his passion. His marriage dissolved. All like everything deteriorated because he had writer's block, which is death for any kind of writer.
Yeah. And we find out a little bit more, because this is a mystery, so everything that's introduced in the early stages is important, no matter how insignificant it may seem. Mm-hmm. We meet his buddy, who's like another professor there, who's played by Daniel Stern.
Yeah.
It was great to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that Dennis Quaid recommended him for a teaching position job, and then there's another teacher named Graham who's not happy because he's been there longer than Daniel Stern is, and he's very angry, and he confronts Dennis Quaid in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. So we immediately know, well, he's not going to be
the red herring.
He's not going to be the murderer, because he's being shown as like the okay, look, if you've never listened to this podcast before, for starters, thank you for staying with us.
What an
for
episode
this long.
to jump into.
What an episode to jump on. We're gonna spoil the movie for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna spoil the ending. We're gonna spoil the reveal of like who the killer is. It's not that. So like what. From my opinion, watch D.O.A. Okay, it's Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern's the killer. There we go.
And it's pretty fucking obvious.
It's pretty obvious because he's the character. Because as the movie goes on, it's all like, oh, he's the character who hasn't done anything yet. Why would you hire Daniel Stern to play this role if nothing's going to happen? Because we've all seen Law and Order.
He's the he's the character that Dexter is like the most friendly with. He trusts him the most, it seems. He's the character who he sees immediately after Nick jumps off is thrown off the building. And he even drops a line like, it must be the heat. The heat makes people do crazy things. And I'm like, That's a fucking tell right there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, the movie gives you, like, so many red herrings and like, so many, like, other, like, subplots and everything like that, but it does get to a point where I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm all like, well, the killer's either Meg Ryan or Daniel Stern, because there's kind of no one left at this point.
The movie really needed, like, another kind of character, like maybe a friend of Nick's or, like, another rival professor. Just give us more suspects, please, in this mystery movie. Hannah, did you want
I was going to say, like, we foreshadowed with Daniel Stern's character. I just saw, he was just Daniel Stern to me the whole time. I totally forgot his name as a
Hal,
character.
I think.
Hal?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Red flag.
But red flag.
Yes, all evil characters are named Hal.
Too much Malcolm in the Middle is in this movie.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Consider that.
Wow.
That's funny.
But he said, like, we'll have a drink because it was going on holiday break, and so for me, I was like, oh, foreshadowing, can already tell who the murderer is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of Malcolm in the Middle, Dex goes home.
Yeah.
Yes, Hannah. Yes.
Circus references. So many fucking circus and carnival references.
Yes.
There are a couple.
Yeah.
Because he gives her a Ferris wheel, and then behind her in that same scene...
that's gonna save their marriage.
Behind her in the same scene is a carousel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh...
That's what she's into. That's like her thing. That's like her cute little
this
thing.
fucking movie is a fucking circus! It just goes on. It's like the Jack in the Box.
Ferris wheel goes around and around and around.
Like, never shuts up.
And knowing music. Yeah, that tracks.
Exactly.
No, he gives Jane Kasmerick what looks like
a massive like
a metal, like, antique working, like, toy Ferris wheel that does not look like it fits in the box that he gives her.
No.
That was the first thing I noticed. Is all like that. There's no way she pulled that out of that box. That's way too big.
Yeah.
And then she gives him his Christmas present, which is divorce papers.
and chews them out for, like, losing his passion after he hasn't published anything in a while.
Pretty cold.
Yes.
I mean, like, look, like, I'm not going to comment on this fictional marriage because I don't know all of the details. Marriages, there's lots of minutiae in there and everything like that. You can, like I was saying, like, you don't want to comment on other people's relationships, but Dennis Quaid has a bit of a good point where it's all like
marriages have ups and downs.
Yeah, they have ups and downs. Like, are you not gonna, like, help me? I recognize that I'm going through, like, a rough patch right now. How about a little, like, support? How about, you know, kind of like help me out? And she's all like, no, I'm getting off this sinking ship as fast as I can. I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm getting off this merry-go-round.
I gotta marry Bryan Cranston and pump out 4 kids. Yes, Hannah. The floor recognizes Hannah Snider.
I yield my time.
To be fair, like, her character was saying that she was trying. And, like, it does get to a point where it's like, you know, like, you can't really take the brunt in relationships. You can't really take the brunt if your partner is having a shitty time. Like, yes, you want to support them, but it's like, don't put it out on the other partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. And I can't imagine she was trying very hard because it is revealed that she had an affair.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So,
but she had an affair because he was being a grumpy pants Magoo. So, you know, like, really, whose fault is it?
He was someone that just reminded me of you and how we were at that
But
time.
a younger, more attractive you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So there's this ceremony art gallery thing that goes forward at the school in the wake of Nick's
before
death.
that, he jumps out of the window.
What?
Before the art gallery, that's when Nick kills himself.
Well, that's happened already.
Yeah, Nick's...
because that happened at the school. This is a very busy day. A lot happens in this one day.
So I forgot to mention the line where he comes in, Daniel Stern's character comes in, and he's like, I'm not going to read the book because it's flatulent student fiction.
I don't believe you didn't read it. What, were you uptight that one of your students might actually produce something of quality?
No, I was uptight about having to wade through 400 pages of flatulent student fiction.
Yeah.
Good one, writer.
Yeah, Dex does, like, before Nick kills himself, he doesn't read the book and he just writes an A on it so Nick will get off his back.
Yeah.
And then after Nick has killed himself, right outside of his office, by the way.
And prior to that, Nick leaves a voice message and he just immediately deletes it without actually listening to it. And then next scene, you see him fall out the window and he kills himself.
It is a little convenience for plot sake and everything like that. We are led to believe that this is one of many, many messages that Nick has probably left him.
Yeah.
So he's probably tired of listening to this kid. But yeah, there is, like, the briefest of moments after Nick has killed himself where Dex throws Nick's book in the garbage, and then he has a moment where he thinks about it. It's all like, no, I have to read it now.
I probably have to read it.
Because the kid's dead.
To honor his memory.
So I'd probably have to do the bare minimum of being a decent person, and I probably do have to read this book now. So he picks up the manuscript, and he puts it in his briefcase, and we forget about that until later.
Yeah.
So they go to this party that, for some reason, his wife is at, even though she's not part of the faculty.
Yeah.
But she's just going to this party, and even though their marriage is breaking up, she's still going to, like, the same party. He has more of a reason to be at that party than she does.
Yeah.
And they left separately.
Yeah.
She, invites him over for some Christmas holiday cheer.
Some eggnog.
AKA
some eggnog.
Which she does not refrigerate. That shit's left out for days.
That's true.
Well, there's probably enough rum in it, though, that doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Yeah.
It's probably preserved.
And I wouldn't say it's days, because this whole movie takes place over the course of, 40 hours?
Because he had only 24 hours to live, and poison had been in him for 12 hours.
Right. But she's at this gallery thing, and it's hosted by the wealthy Mrs. Fitzwarner. What the fuck's her?
Oh, what a great rich person name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight out of a fucking Marx Brothers cartoon. No, they were live action. They weren't cartoons. Played by Charlotte Rampling, who was giving her best, icy stare in every situation here.
And she was we are led to believe that she was the surrogate mother of the boy who killed himself, because it's a very interesting backstory
in
where
what happens here.
wherein his father was a thief, we're led to believe.
No one can see you do the quotes because it's an audio medium.
Okay.
I just want to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a fake cover story. We're gonna get to the real truth, but the story is that his father killed her husband, and then he died during this robbery. And she was all like, okay, well, you, Nick, the sins of your father, you don't have to suffer for them. I'm going to put you through school.
Yes.
That's the story that they go through. And this is also the first time where Dex's wife, Malcolm's mom, she
Dex's wife, Malcolm's mom.
What's her character name? Gail?
Gail.
Yeah. So this is when Gail learns of the death of Nick, and she faints, and that's when we find out that she had an affair with Nick.
I'm a
Somehow,
little lost. So how, I know the phone call that they had the next day, but how does she say I had an affair? I think I missed that part.
What?
It was so subtle.
Well, what happens is she faints, and then they take her to a car just to drive her home, her friends, and that's where Dex is just hanging outside the car window, going what was it? Was it you and Nick?
He just kind of pieces it together.
Yeah, that they had
oh my god.
Yeah, that's how that's revealed.
Terribly
He correctly assumes that they slept together. Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, but why else would she faint at the mention of a person's name that she has no connection to?
Yeah.
I actually think it is some decent deductive reasoning on Dex's part.
It's a bit of a leap back, if you ask me.
Possibly, but there's this movie is full of contrivances and leaps of logic and everything he does. So, and this is none more exemplified by what happens next. So, Dex has had an alarmingly dramatic day already. A student has murdered himself immediately outside of his window.
Yeah, finds out his wife cheated on him with a young man.
And she caused a major scene in front of all of his work colleagues and everything. He just wants to go to this local college bar and have a nice quiet drink in peace, and he sits down to just a random lady, and it turns out he sat down to the most drama in the entire fucking bar. This poor guy, he can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So he sits down to a lady who is currently drinking 4 martinis, which is wild.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this fancy British gentleman comes out of nowhere and says, "You're coming with me, dear." And she puts out a cigarette on his hand, and he drags her out.
God damn, lady.
He's like, "What the fuck? I just want. What's going on? What's happening in my life?"
He's sort of looking around for hidden cameras, he's in a prank show or something.
And then Meg Ryan is also at the Sydney with a Y.
Yeah.
She's also at the thing, so she comes over and they drink the martinis that are left behind.
Yeah, that's right.
And all of this is important because the 4 random martinis that are just sitting there, the eggnog from the earlier scene, we were setting up.
He had champagne.
He had champagne.
He was having drinks with Hal. Yeah,
it's all important because we're gonna find out what happens next. Yeah. All of the drinks that he has, it's all important. You all need to clock all of it.
So he got drunk, and she takes him back to the girls' dormitory where he wakes up with not even the mother of all hangovers. Something's different off about this hangover. And so he goes and checks himself to his doctor friend.
We find out they don't sleep together.
Yeah, they don't sleep together. Yeah.
Because he's an honorable English professor.
Yeah.
Hannah. All right, they do exist.
The one guy on campus.
The one guy. He's the one honorable guy on campus who won't sleep with the co-eds.
You know, sleeping with the sophomores.
Even though his wife's like okays it because at least
even though they were dating in real life too.
I gotta say, like, Nick kind of fucks. Like, sleeping with your professor's distressed wife. Like, dude, you rock.
Yeah.
Like, what was his plan after Dennis Quaid read the book and then, like, loved it? Like, I'm gonna get, like, this published. It's all, like, cool.
Surprise,
by the way! Yeah. There's a big by the way coming at ya!
Is there no one else that you could maybe give this manuscript to? Like, maybe a literary agent? Leave this poor guy alone. He's going through a lot.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, his doctor friend checks him out. And she's like, hey, you got this, like, really rare type of poison that's, like, really gotten into your system. And
radium chloride.
Radium chloride, yeah. And it's like this neon green thing that dissolves fine in liquid, but
does it just make you glow in the dark?
Yeah.
It's ecto-cooler, yeah.
Exactly. And she says, like, yeah, there's really no cure for this. Like, you're gonna die in 24 hours at most. Yeah.
Before she tells him that, though, she gives him something to calm him down. Air quotes, calm him down.
Right.
Because he's being a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And
he was poisoned! Come on, give him a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
A little bit of leeway. He just found out he has 24 hours to live.
Yeah.
I would be upset as well.
But, you know, I mean, if I had, like, a manic and neurotic and really annoying patient, too, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to knock you out just a little bit so you're not completely not unconscious.
So, like, sir, you're causing a little bit of a scene. It's like, I'm sorry if I'm mansplaining right now. I just found out I'm going to die tomorrow. I just found out I am poisoned. So who poisoned me? Who does that?
Yeah.
Daniel Stern.
Yeah, Daniel Stern. Yeah.
Exactly. Also, audio is terrible in this scene, too, because, like, it feels like her voice is being thrown over. Like, I don't know the technical term, but...
No.
It's a cheap film! It's cheap!
There was a great moment back when he's in Meg Ryan's dorm where he's, like, looking out the window and this camera does, like, this amazing zoom thing where he's almost like falling out of the window, but then it like reverse zooms the other way, so it's like looking at the guy. Because like these guys came from like this background with like Max Headroom and stuff, so they knew how to do all of this cool camera technical stuff. And stuff. I think there's like really interesting imagery in this movie.
As much as I don't like this movie and as many problems I have with it, the cinematography isn't it. It very at least keeps it interesting.
It is. It's and it is that iconic 80s vibe to it as well, because when he's leaving the hospital, he's doing like the classic stumbling through the market and through the square.
Oh, man.
And you have like that eerie synth playing in the background.
Yeah, the guitar and like church organ music covering it.
Well, also as to your earlier point, Hannah, he's stumbling through the carnival. Because his life, not a carnival.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like a Christmas carnival going on here. But
I love that this is like a scummy, hot, sweaty Christmas movie. I love it. It's like a great, like, secret Christmas noir.
But
how often do you see that? I love
that.
Not
often. Is this set in New Orleans?
Where is this movie set?
I thought it was set in L.A. I will say, like, all the Christmas stuff to me just stuck out like a sore thumb. Every time it popped up, it was like, oh, this is a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
And it's not to say that, like, Christmas can't happen in hot climates, but in this movie, all the decorations just seem really out of place. Like, the movie was always meant to be set, like, at Christmas, but they just shot it in summer, and then they wrote in, like, oh, well, fuck, there's a heat wave going on.
Yeah.
And really having it set at Christmas and during a heat wave don't really, like, factor into the plot at all.
Interesting. Are you familiar with a movie called Lethal Weapon?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a movie called Die Hard?
Yes.
There's a long tradition of movies being set at Christmas that have nothing to do with Christmas, and Christmas is just like a backdrop for what's going on.
Right, and like one of my favorite movies is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and that also takes place at Christmas. I'm not saying that you can't have crime capers that take place at Christmas in hot climates. I'm saying that this movie makes that premise and being shot at Christmas look like shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that. Why does it have to look good?
As a backdrop, it's so half-assed. I mean, the only thing they do in this movie to convey that it takes place at Christmas is there's one scene where there's an undecorated Christmas tree. A house has some shitty string lights on it. and maybe one character says Merry Christmas.
Is shit. Everything's going to shit for him.
Yeah,
and it's like a sweaty, paranoid, gross movie, and I kind of loved that.
All right.
A lot of sweat.
It's a very sweaty movie. It's hot right now where we are, so it's like
he's wearing a wool suit.
Yeah, all right. So he goes to Gail's place and
he does wear a lot of suits in this movie. He maybe should put some shorts on. So he goes to his wife.
Yeah, and catches her getting bludgeoned to death with that fucking Ferris wheel that he gifted her.
God.
And at that point, like, I watched this movie a bit last night, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is a busy fucking movie. I gotta resume this in the morning. I'm dead tired.
Gail is also dead tired. Emphasis on the dead. Nick's book has been thrown into the fire. We see it crumbling away.
Yeah.
Maybe she read something she wasn't supposed to have seen.
Yeah.
And then he...
Oh, yeah, because, like, he'd left the manuscript at
and then he, like, passes... He doesn't strike... No, because the killer gets away, whoever it is, and he, like...
Yeah, what a mystery.
He, like, falls over or something.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up, Brian James and the other police people are there. Daniel Stern is also there. Coincidence.
Yeah,
the doctor friend is there who I never figured out.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I thought she was like married to Daniel Stern because we see her at the party.
I think she was Gail's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like their mutual friend or whatever. Yeah.
But like having them both there at the crime scene, I don't know enough about crime scene investigation, but I have to assume
I don't know why Daniel Stern.
The only people that I assume are allowed like at a active crime scene are like maybe the cops, a lawyer perhaps, maybe a doctor.
Yeah.
Not whatever fucking professorship job that Hal has. He's speaking for Dexter in this situation, and it's just a massive tell that he's the fucking killer. Why else would he be there at the scene if not to like see if he can cover his tracks?
Yeah, who knows, yeah. But, and the doctor has, like, filled the cops in, so the cops know that he's poisoned and is, like, running on borrowed time, but, like,
that doesn't stop him from being suspect number one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, lock him up? The guy, he's gonna die!
Yeah.
The
He's
guy's
gonna die
dying!
in jail, so.
Yeah.
But, like, he takes the doctor friend hostage, and he, like, takes her into the next room, and then she, like, immediately gets in on it.
Yeah.
Like she's all like, don't, I'm gonna hurt her, and he like takes her behind like a curtain, and then he like immediately lets go of her, and she keeps playing along.
Yeah.
And this is the last we see of that character. She never comes back.
Yeah.
So it's like, what reason did she have to do that?
Because now she's a fucking accomplice.
Yeah, exactly. He'll go off and murder more people.
Yeah, presumably. So at this point, he's going to start retracing his steps, and his first stop is to go see Meg Ryan, and we
should probably talk about her a little bit more, huh?
Yeah. I love how, like, I just want to say, I love how, like, he sneaks up on her. There was no reason for him to need to sneak up on her when he.
Well, ladies, lock your dormitory doors.
Well, but also at that point, he doesn't know who the killer is.
Yeah.
She had drinks with him.
Yeah.
She could have been the poisoner.
Yeah.
But then.
But he takes out all of his anger out on her, where he's just like, ever since I met you, like my life's been gone to shit. And I don't know, like, why you just
for a day.
Yeah, known her for a day after a night of day drinking. And
she's a dangerous broad. She's because they're playing with like the idea. I'm sure in like the other movie, she wore like a trench coat. Yeah. She had like a thin cigarette or whatever, and now we're playing with like the 80s or whatever, so we can't quite do that archetype.
In this movie, she's putting together like a Halloween costume or something.
It's for the Christmas carnival.
Yeah,
where everyone wears themed outfits. And I don't know. This is a little confusing. I'll admit. Yes.
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's pretty clever.
Because someone has daddy issues.
I was really hoping she was going to keep wearing that the entire movie.
It just says Freud on the...
She just has like a sign that says Freud on it the entire time.
Yeah.
Long past the point where you remember the context of why that's there, but no, she doesn't take that off.
What a great Christmas-themed outfit.
And yeah, so he decides that he needs to investigate some stuff, and she has to come along. So he does the most insane thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. I like this movie more than you. You will get no argument from me that this is not wackadoo. So this is an insane thing that he does.
It's actually toxic.
Literally toxic.
Way.
Is this a carryover from the original movie?
I have no idea.
I can't imagine that movie was this stupid.
Oh my God.
I don't think so.
In lieu of using, I don't know, maybe some handcuffs, he decides to super glue himself to her arm.
It's more kinky that way.
But where's he gonna get handcuffs?
I don't know.
He's a college professor. He doesn't walk around with handcuffs. You gotta think. You gotta use your environment. Jameson. Yeah.
Are you defending something that you just said you'll have no argument with me on?
I'll defend anything.
Okay.
I'll defend
so
anything.
Kaz's favorite thing in the movie happens and he super glues himself to Meg Ryan.
Yeah! It's awesome!
Bonds for life. And then he does like that little like Dennis Quaid head thing, and then she gives like those Meg Ryan eyes with like that little gaping mouth, like, ah!
And then for 20 minutes, they are literally stuck together.
And then when they're running down the streets, she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then this is a great thing about Meg Ryan. She does like, she'll sometimes list off, her characters will go into like this like anxious state and she'll start like listing off all her feelings. She's like, I'm confused and I'm tired and I have to go to the bathroom.
But I just can't handle this. I'm scared. I'm confused.
All right, I'm sorry.
And I have to go to the bathroom.
And they go behind a dumpster. Fun! Where he's still super glued to her, air quotes, guarding.
Yeah.
And then she, like, does her business and her little Freudian slip.
Yeah. So like, they start retracing their steps.
Which I'm going to take that as a Halloween idea. So.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you'll go to a party and someone will be all like, oh shit, Meg Ryan from D.O.A. Nice!
No one is going to say that. Unless you and I are at that party. No one.
Oh my god, if you did, I would just walk away.
You go as that, and I'll go as Denzel Washington from Philadelphia, where he goes as the lawsuit. Remember that he just puts paper on a suit? He's like, I'm a lawsuit. It's funny. And then somebody will say cultural appropriation. Because I'm Denzel.
What culture?
Because I'm dressing up as Denzel Washington.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're not going as the lawsuit. You're going to go as Denzel Washington.
I'm specifically going as Denzel Washington in the lawsuit from Philadelphia.
Change
That's
subject,
my costume.
Moving
on.
Yeah. So they started retracing their steps because, like, Meg Ryan was sober enough during all that, like, to check out the bargain where either it's the same band that played before, or there are two live bands here that include fiddle players in this film universe.
Got around.
Okay, that band fuck though.
Yeah.
I really like that band.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
It's a college town, Jameson. Of course, there's a band with prominent fiddle player in it.
Multiple bands with prominent fiddle players.
No, just one. They're booked in multiple venues per night.
That's why I thought this film was like taking place in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it takes place. It takes place in any town in the USA.
Yeah, during the heat wave at Christmas.
So they go to Nick's funeral service,
before
which conveniently is happening the day after he died.
Yeah, but like before they do that, they immediately eliminate that one suspect, Graham.
Yes, they go to his house, beats him up in front of his family.
Yeah,
as you do.
Do you have any enemies?
Still glued to Meg Ryan.
Yeah. Beats the shit out of him.
On the table in front of the yams.
Yeah.
Just start beating him with the fucking ladle.
Yeah.
It's the worst Christmas ever. But
what are you doing here?
Yeah, but he's got an alibi and shit, so like, he's not a suspect anymore. So there goes our only fucking red herring in this.
So they figure they'll go to the funeral to see if there are any suspicious characters at the funeral.
Yeah.
They take a cab. Once again, Daniel Stern inexplicably there for no real reason. He's just hanging out.
He wants to show his respects. Like they're having the memorial at
wasn't his student.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it was at the college.
And they go there, and the first person presenting is that woman who put the cigarette out on the butler. Yeah, we
find out is Charlotte Ramplane's daughter. Her name is Cookie Fitzwaring.
Oh boy!
And I just want to say that's incredible.
What a name.
These are good names. Good movie. Moving on.
She talks about like how much like Nick meant to her because like he was close to the family and everything, a little too close. Like the mother like causes a scene and the daughter storms out.
What she starts saying is all like you mentioned another Shakespeare play earlier, but what you should have mentioned was Romeo and Juliet because Nick and I were. And then Charlotte Rampling stands up and she's like,
"Don't you say it!
Put your hand in this box. There'll be pain in this box."
Oh, is that?
That's who that is.
Okay.
That's a reference for all you people.
Dune reference, kids.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the roles of all of these actors that you might have heard of.
Yeah.
Jameson.
Great. Oh yeah, there's a chase scene in the theater department of this university.
They go backstage, and the Bernard, the British butler,
the badass
bodyguard,
butler,
punches out Dennis Quaid, and then they run away, and then they run back into the auditorium, and seemingly over the space of 2 minutes. This funeral is now empty.
Yeah.
Everyone is gone.
Yeah.
The entire auditorium is just empty.
It was a quick service.
It was a quick service. Everyone just filed out. There was no milling about.
Yeah.
Everyone had other places to go to immediately.
And
it's like the quickest funeral service I've ever seen in my life.
It was pretty late for a service, if you ask me. Like a mystery man starts like firing a nail gun at them.
One of those classic movie nail guns.
Yeah, that shoot like.
That's like the most dangerous thing in the world. It has never worked like a nail gun has ever worked ever in the history of nail guns. But it's fine. And then they get on an elevator, and Meg Ryan is dangling over the edge, and she incredibly painfully gets unglued from his hands, and like all of the skin rips off her arm.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
It's gruesome.
And then that wound seems to just disappear because when we see her again,
has a bandage.
she's got like the cursory bandage on it. But yeah, it's like she seems fine after that happens. But it's like if that happened to me, I'd be done.
Yeah,
I'd be done for the week. No more adventuring for no more adventuring for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he calls her a cab and he says, "I'm sorry for dragging you into this sort of like." She gets into the cab and drives off, and I thought what a waste. I would have preferred it if Meg Ryan hung around like as he does all the
10 minutes because she'll be back.
Well, I mean,
which is weird. It's a natural exit for her character to leave, and yet the movie manifests a way to get her back into the story, even though by all accounts she should wash her hands of Dennis Quaid, get as far away from him as possible because he's a dangerous person to be around.
Like they could have gone in two directions. Like either she's leaving for the movie because like she's got this massive wound on her arm. She should probably get herself to a hospital or something. Or she just tags along and now she's like helping him out in this investigation because now she has a vested interest in this too. But it doesn't do that. It's Dennis Quaid following up on these new leads that he's discovered for himself without an accomplice.
Where do they end up meeting up again?
The carnival.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
seemingly like because she says the cat get into the cab. He tells the cab driver take her to. Doesn't even say take her to the emergency. She doesn't even say take her to the hospital. It says take her to like the med center. Mm-hmm. So it's all like, are we still on campus? Just say the hospital.
Yeah.
She's got like a gaping arm wound, and then he goes off and he does the thing that we're gonna talk about next. So, but then like seemingly like 2-3 hours later, she's at the carnival. She's changed into like a nice like summer dress.
After a harrowing evening of getting glued to a man and chased with a nail gun, she decides, you know what? I need to unwind and relax.
I might skip the carnival.
I
might stay home.
Yeah.
I might have a nice night in with a bubble bath, a glass of rosé, and a movie on VHS.
And take care of my gaping arm wound.
Exactly.
But apparently, no.
Been really looking forward to this carnival.
I want some popcorn. That's what I want.
I want to go on a fucking Ferris wheel.
I just want to go. I just want to like wax some moles, get some tickets. Oh, hey, Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And then she's back in the movie.
Dennis Quaid's stumbling around, and then he enters this carnival, and he's stumbling around and like throwing himself on things, and then these guys are like, he's drunk, and then
and people are just pelting with popcorn.
With drinks and popcorn, and then she shows up and like air quotes saves the day, and she's like, stop doing that to him, and then takes him off to her dorm.
It was, the 80s were a different
time.
They
sealed the
bow,
deal.
chicka, bow.
Consensually.
Yeah.
So we're forgetting everything that happens before that.
Yeah, we jumped ahead there. What happens after Meg Ryan gets into the cab is Dennis Quaid goes to the Fitzwarren, whatever the fuck their name is. She goes to the estate, and he encounters the mother and the butler there, and Cookie, who's got a gun pointed at the mom, saying,
I just want to say this line of dialogue here.
Please.
Where Dennis Quaid, I forget the exact line of dialogue, but like he's talking to the mother and everything like that.
Professor Cornell, isn't it? It was your wife who fell apart at the art gallery yesterday evening.
Yes, and it was your Cookie who crumbled at the memorial service.
Yeah, which is the only reason why they named that character.
Great! No notes! Moving on!
Oh my god, yes!
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then this is, we find out, once again, we're several steps ahead of the movie, because this isn't revealed until later, but it's here where I, anyway, pretty much put together that Nick is actually Charlotte Ramplane's illegitimate son, and Nick and Cookie were hooking up, and they were doing some secret incest.
Yeah,
and they didn't know it.
They didn't know it. They
were related.
Which is why she was against the whole relationship and everything like that. Yeah. And then Bernard the butler, who is like he's a bit of a badass. He's
pretty cool.
Yeah, he's alright. He survives like burn on the hand.
Yeah, he's a little unflappable.
He has one of my favorite lines.
We don't like what you're inferring.
Bernard, I think you mean implying. You see, when I say something, that's implying. How you take it, that's inferring.
Okay. Then infer this.
And then he punches him in the gut,
which is a great line of dialogue, but it's kind of weird coming out of like a fancy butler.
Yeah,
you know, like it's cool. He does a good line delivery of that, but it's all like.
But like, man, if I could go back time and talk to like one of my English teachers who was schooling me on the difference between implying and inferring, I would have loved to. Oh yeah, well infer this, and I sock him.
You want to assault?
That's the neo-noir talking too.
Yeah.
Like trying to get like that gangster talk back.
Yeah,
and then your professor would be all like A+.
Yeah, exactly.
That was what I want. I want all of my students to challenge the material.
I stood up to him. Like, he respects me now. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bernard throws him into the back of a limo, and he's driving him down to the tar pit. So I guess it is L.A.
I mean, I don't know anywhere else in America that have tar pits. I'm assuming there are, but L.A. is kind of famous.
Can I just say, movies these days, not enough tar pits.
Oh, really?
We need a lot more scenes set in tar pits, because there's so much dramatic action that can happen when you introduce
a tar pit,
slowly sinking tar.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
a great showcase.
It must suck to film there, though. I'm sure it's hot and smelly.
It's movie tar, though. It's not like actual tar. Okay. It's probably like water mixed with chocolate syrup or something like that. Probably. It's great. You want to be in the tar.
Okay.
It's not actual tar. They didn't actually cover that actor with tar. Yeah. So, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Hot girl summer.
Very
hot girl.
Hot girl Christmas. Talk about hot girl Christmas in the tar pits.
Beautiful body wax. You'll never look younger.
So he's about to kill her, but then
Cookie shows up.
Cookie rear ends him, and she freaks out.
Yeah.
For real, because she's like drunk and like she's all like, I
miss Nick. Yeah, I hate you, Bernard.
And so she has a gun. And
like runs over Bernard, and then he manages to shoot her in the head.
He shoots Cookie in the head, and he's like, "Oh, it's a great moment where he like shoots Cookie in the head, and then he's all like, oh shit!" Yeah. It's all like most of this guy's dialogue is
pretty witty and clever. Well, like most characters' lines in this movie are witty and clever, but that was like pretty natural. Like, fuck.
But then they drive into the La Brea tar pits or whatever tar pit, I don't know. And Cookie goes flying, and she's very dead.
Yeah,
very dead at this point, and Bernard gets all covered in sticky tar, and then he chases after Dex, but they have a tussle on a bridge, which is a bridge over tar. There's a lot of tar everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he throws Bernard in, and one assumes that Bernard does not get out of that. So
he's out of the movie.
Two more bodies.
Exactly.
Two more corpses for the body count. For the alarmingly high body count in this movie.
For this movie, yeah. A lot of people are dead through the actions of Dennis Quaid. So he goes back to the estate where, that's where Mrs. Fitzwaring reveals the truth about like her illegitimate child.
Hello, dear, I'm Mrs. Fitzwaring. Hello. Sorry, I just had to say it once.
She's not like that at all.
I know.
She's a very icy, dignified woman.
Of course, because it's Charlotte Rampling. Yeah. And then she admits the thing that we had already figured out. Nick's father was her husband at one point in time.
Previous marriage, yeah.
And then, for whatever reason, they broke up, and Nick went with them, and then she married a more rich guy, and then he came to the house, tried to extort them, and so Charlotte Rampling decides, you know what? I'll just kill both my husbands. Both of them are dead at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'll do like this big gambit, and it didn't pay off for me. Didn't work out.
Nope.
I was hoisted by my own petard. Oh well, and then she shoots herself.
Yeah.
So this is all just like a big red herring, and Dex is all like, "Well, fuck.
Yeah,
I am no closer to figuring out who poisoned me." Yeah. The plot of this movie.
What a day! This gets embroiled in like a 24-hour murder mystery on the waiting days of his life.
Secret incest subplot actually had nothing to do with him getting poisoned.
But like, hey, it was something for him to do in the last hours of his life. Yeah. So he goes to his office, and he trashes the place. He puts two and two together when he looks at, you know, the bottle of whiskey that he shared with Daniel Stern, and he calls him to his office.
A moment that, I'll be perfectly honest, I had completely forgotten happened. Because there were so many other, like, more obvious, just like the 4 martinis thing.
Yeah.
It was just all like they're setting up, all of the other drinking moments are kind of like elevated a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the sharing a whiskey thing with Daniel Stern is kind of like, because I guess Daniel Stern must have not drunk anything, but they weren't obviously drawing attention to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had forgot, which I think the movie wanted you to do.
Yeah, if we're gonna pay that movie some credit with like the good cinematography, they hid that detail, which is like important for the reveal in the mystery story, because they really do highlight the other examples where he's drinking.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
and
good on you, movie.
This is what I'll argue is maybe the most unbelievable thing. He calls Daniel Stern and he says, like, I need you coming to my office. And Daniel Stern does.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why, as the murderer? You know you're the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, he must be near the end of his clock.
Just wait it out.
Just don't show up.
Yeah.
Just say you're busy.
Yeah.
Just, like, in fact, leave town.
Yeah,
like, don't come to the
leave the man on
spot of your inevitable demise.
That's right.
But he does.
I think if you want to keep it like you have to act like pretend to be as innocent as you can.
Not really. He'll be dead soon.
Yeah.
He'll be dead very. All he has to do is just wait out the clock.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He shows up.
Yeah. Quaid offers him a drink, but he won't take it, and that's like the big, that's how he clues in that, and he's been found out, and he admits that, yeah, I stole the poison from the doctor friend, because we hooked up that one time, and I stole the stuff when she wasn't looking. And I poisoned your drink because I read Nick's book, and it's really good, and I want to steal it for myself, and I need to kill anyone else who's read that book.
Look, admittedly, I like this movie a lot more than you do. Mm-hmm. This is some sweaty garbage. This is one of the most unbelievable killer reveal things of all.
Yeah.
It's all like, you could have just stolen the book.
Yeah.
Like, after, like, Nick throws himself off the roof, my thought was all like, oh, is the plot of this going to be, like, Dennis Quaid
steals the book himself, and then
himself.
it's like, and then, like, there's like a cat and mouse thing going on with someone else who knows that that's actually Nick's story. That's where, like, the whole mystery and, like, that would have been a more interesting movie, I think. Yeah. The whole time I was waiting for someone to try and pass off that book as their own. But no, what would be an inciting incident in any other kind of movie is like the big reveal for his motive.
And Daniel Stern is all like, writing's really hard. And Dennis Quaid is all like, you gave up and everything like that. I'm gonna pass this book off on my own. I'm gonna rest on my laurels. And Dennis Quaid says, yeah, but at least they were my laurels that I rested on. And he's all like, I got my mojo back. I figured out how to live. Mm-hmm. And all it took was getting poisoned and die soon, but I'm living my life. I had sex with a 1988 Meg Ryan. That'll give anyone a little spring in their step.
Sometimes that's what has to happen. I mean, I've almost like died, and then suddenly I was like, "Holy shit, I'm alive!" Mm-hmm. So
new appreciation of life.
Yeah, I mean to some extent.
And then two ridiculous things happen. Well, a lot of ridiculous things happen.
So then it goes to like the movie switches back to black and white as they have a fight.
Yeah, this was stupid. I'll complain about this in a minute.
The fan!
Yeah. The fan is ridiculous. It's just like a regular desk fan that knocks over, and like the shield or whatever knocks off, and Daniel Stern tries to shove Dennis Quaid's face into it. It's almost a scene out of like a Naked Gun parody, because it's all like, no, and then like in real life he would just be like, ow, ow. It would like nick his nose a little bit.
It's not
propellers.
Yeah,
it's not fucking Indiana Jones. It's not a buzzsaw or anything.
It wouldn't even break the skin.
Yeah,
it's a 1980s desk fan.
It would just end up like causing like just a bunch of like almost like cat scratches. Just in like a really weird like propeller style around the face.
And then through some sort of contrivance, Dennis Quaid gets a gun, and he shoots Daniel Stern out the window, and he falls right next to the chalk outline of Nick that is still there. But right before he shoots him, he just says the word "perish."
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to a line that was said earlier. And I think Daniel Stern said something, and he used the word "perish," and then Dennis Quaid was throwing it back in his face. but it's the dumbest thing to say right before you kill someone.
It goes perish, like he's manifesting his death. It's like he literally pulled the fucking trigger on this guy.
The line is, when you're talking about, like, you know, finding, like, success for yourself in this game of book writing and everything, is publish or perish.
Oh,
and this was him.
I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But without that context, just him saying that line out of is just so funny. It's just a great kill line that no one would ever say.
Yeah, no, totally.
Did you like the extra touch where Daniel Stern tries to kill him by bludgeoning him with his typewriter?
Yeah.
and then when he gets shot and he falls out the window, the typewriter goes with him and it smashes on the ground next to the truck.
Symbolism.
Yeah.
And metaphor.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
So yeah, as you say, it transitions back into black and white, but that first transition from black and white into color, I think is so good. They completely biff it on this because it happens like mid fist fight.
Yeah.
It's not even a transition. It just snaps from color to black and white.
Yeah.
And what sucks is that there's a perfect transitional moment where after Daniel Stern is dead on the ground, it transitions back into the cop station, and there's the static on the TV.
Yeah.
That's where it should have transferred into black and white because it's already black and white on the TV, but they fucked it up and they did it like 2 minutes earlier than they should have done it.
Yeah, they zoom in on like the rain-soaked window, and that goes into blurry, and that becomes the static on the television. Pretty clever.
Yeah. Would
have been a good opportunity to blend the black and white there.
Yeah, and then Dennis Quaid looks up at the cops. He's all like, "How about that shit, huh? That's some fucking shit that happened." Yeah. And then he walks away, and the credits roll, and presumably he died in a corner. Yeah. That's it. That's the movie. The movie's over.
That's the movie.
Dennis Quaid
dies
off screen. It's all like I kind of expected him to die of the poison. Also, like, he must be, like, very near the end of the poison's life cycle or whatever. He should not be looking as good as he currently is.
Yeah.
He should be He should, like, white foam should be... He looks fine. He can walk under his own power.
Yeah, his head is held high. He's finished his objective. He's got a new positive outlook on life with seconds to live.
Yeah, and that's D.O.A. So, Hannah Jameson... does this movie have a certain something, or in your opinion, is it just a whole lot of nothing? Hannah Snider.
It's a whole lot of nothing. Oh, God. No, I'm not comfortable saying that. It's weird. It's like...
A lot of people make a movie. A lot of work goes into it.
There's just, like, what I think is, like, clever in the film is a lot of the literary symbolism. Because, again, it is noir. It's supposed to be artistic, and I do appreciate the literary puns and symbolism and metaphors and all that shit. And if you're, someone who's an artistic freak like us three, then you do appreciate it. Like the whole transition into color at the beginning of the film. But it's nothing because it's still like... It's cringy as fuck. Like, I don't, like, like, with the ideas that they were trying to make, they needed that little extra something, but they just got lazy, or no one was there to necessarily coach the writers or the producer and directors, as in, like, if you want this to be successful, you have to add this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's kind of like written by like some egomaniac that was like, it's his way or the highway. And like, and he just refuses to take any type of constructive criticism from some people that probably know better than he does. Mm-hmm. But God knows you can never tell someone that. I'm not, trying to make a personal reference here. I'm just saying.
Please do.
This
is a safe space. Yeah. This is a safe space for personal references to your own life.
Yeah. So I think it's a nothing in that to where like it had some sloppy moments that could have made it a little bit better. But yeah, like the literary metaphors and puns were creative to some extent, and then also just kind of cheesy.
And then they went too far with that. I think.
Totally.
Outside of some really clever filmmaking tricks and techniques and cinematography, I found this movie to be really annoying to listen to, and not altogether hard to follow, but just annoying to follow because big things happen so close to each other, and they're surrounded by a soundtrack that I think is very annoying, and some camera trickery that is that's a little too wild for its own good. And I made the point earlier where like this kind of broad, flowery way of talking would suit very well in a more comedic film, but it's just very unnatural seeing all this unfold the way that it does and hearing people talk the way that they do in this movie. Like, nobody has witty repartee like this outside of a screenplay from a writer who's trying to show off how smart they are. So, yeah, there's a couple of things that really took me out of this. This could be really good, but yeah, the people behind the camera were simultaneously the worst people to handle it, but they had a couple of nuggets of good ideas that they probably jotted down and thought, okay, we'll tip our hat to the noir stuff, but everything else that's theirs, it kind of lost itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't nearly as polished as it should have been for like a good artistic noir film.
Cool. Valid opinions. I'm perfectly happy being the outlier, being the dissenter. I thought this movie was pretty great. I had a lot of fun with it. I think the difference is I never took this movie seriously. I went into it assuming that it was going to be cheesy, trashy goodness, and that's exactly what I got. It was very sloppy. I was kind of in the mood for a sloppy movie. I kind of enjoyed it. I think it was ridiculous. I think the things that happen in it are absurd, and I kind of dug it. It's interesting that you point out you found the soundtrack annoying. I didn't even clock the soundtrack. I don't even remember what the soundtrack was. I'm just picturing.
Chad something or other.
It's actually written by Annabelle Jankel, the director's brother, who was a member of the classic British punk band Ian Jury and the Blockheads.
Okay.
A little bit of trivia there.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Interesting.
There were some some guitar stings that came out, and I'm like, why a rock soundtrack for something like this?
It's the 80s, and we're trying to do like a little neo noir thing.
But
very like
yeah, but 80s were all synthy. If they wanted to do like a Blade Runner-esque soundtrack,
that wasn't the movie that they were making.
I guess
they were making a piece of trash.
You know what the soundtrack reminded me of? The movie Twister. So they were trying to be like pre-grunge before grunge even.
This movie invented grunge.
How about that? All right, we can thank it for that.
All over Nirvana.
All right, well, this has been a fairly long episode. Yeah. Hannah Snider, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for being here.
Being
My pleasure.
Our emergency last minute guest. What do you got going on? You got anything you want to tell the people about?
Well, I'm attempting to eventually gain higher social status and respect in the world by graduating with a diploma.
Oh!
And I won't be looked down upon.
Very few people have done that.
In the caste system.
I thought you were going to say
the caste system?
Caste.
I thought you were going to say very few people look down on her already.
She's quite tall.
I mean,
I meant that she's a good person.
Okay, all right. Are we objectifying me, or am I doing like a sad bit here? Other than that, I've been playing music around town, and I do have a podcast which you can check out. It's called Keeping It Straight with Georgia, where I talk about the culture and the art scenes between my old hometown, Victoria, and my current hometown that I actually love, Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's been a very long time, but when you're a journalist student who hasn't graduated yet and whose computer blows up in front of the IT guy's face, then you come fucking talking to me about doing other episodes, okay? I'm gonna leave.
I'm done.
As stated earlier, you are listening to a podcast that takes giant breaks in between releasing episodes because we have other shit going on in our lives. So if you love this, you'll love Hannah. You'll love what she's into.
I'm gonna try to do some more rebranding, and like now that I have more of that education behind me with journalism, I'll have more of a professional approach to it. But anyways, so excellent. Yeah, that's basically where you'll find me. Excellent. Do I go out and party around town? No, can't really afford it.
All right, so don't go looking for her because you won't find her.
Yeah.
So be at home. Jameson,
look for that podcast that's not going to have any updates. Yeah.
You got something to promote.
Oh, yeah. That Bigfoot movie that I was making with Kevin for the better part of 3 years now. It's coming out. We got a release date, August 28th. We're doing a premiere at the Rio, which I still can't really believe. And then after we do that, we're going to submit it to some festivals. We're going to put it up on YouTube eventually, so you don't have to go to the premiere. But I would love it if you do, because we got to fill up this 420-seat auditorium. Kaz is in it. Friend of the show, Harrison Mooney and Danny Marquardt. They're in it.
If you're a fan of this podcast, you'll love this cartoon movie because it's all of your old favorite, all of the voices you hear every week because you replay our episodes over and over again.
Yeah.
So you listen to that. It's like an end of an era. Like I feel like this cartoon almost predates this podcast.
I think we started it maybe the same year that we started the podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah. But like this would have been out a lot sooner had we like hammered down an idea for the script sooner. But much like the podcast, something that kept my mind occupied during the pandemic.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to go to this premiere. It's cool that it's finally manifested.
Yeah, I'm happy that it's going to be out. It's a little dramedy about a hiker that meets Bigfoot, and then Bigfoot asks the hiker to help him meet other Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah. And hijinks ensue.
Hijinks, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you think.
All of it.
All
the trifecta.
Yeah.
All three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
It's a good time.
Show up.
Be there.
Great. And you know what else is fun? This podcast, which is over now. So thank you for listening. That was D.O.A. directed by Annabelle Jenkel and Rocky Morton. If you enjoyed this episode of Nothing Movies, please listen to all of our back catalog. If you go all the way back and then all of a sudden it's all like, wait, what was this other podcast? Just relax. It's the same podcast. We just used to have a different name. It was called The Fuck Is This? And it's the same podcast. Hannah's on it. Hannah was on it twice. So go back and listen to her episodes. It's great. It's great. We're on all of the social medias. We'd like to thank Eddie Lamb for our theme music. And that's it. That's the episode. It's over. I'm Kaz.
I'm Jameson. And in the immortal words of Meg Ryan, yes, oh God, yes!
Why?
We pick a line from... Well, you had me at hello. Is that one of hers?
No.
No.
That's Renee Zellweger.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening! Which is my new sign-off catchphrase, which is great. And no one has ever done it.
No one has ever said thanks for listening on a podcast.
Hey, Joe! Get your ass in that volcano! That's what she says, right?
No.
Okay.
Take me to bed or lose me forever.
Yay! We nailed it. First try.